Hello everyone and welcome back. I've got my book and as you can tell I've got my therapy buddies with me. So shall we begin? So let me get slightly comfy. You remember we're about to start a new chapter. You see, my foot keeps itching tonight. But we shall persist as I always do. Right. Chapter 4. We can change. That's nice, isn't it? Nice and hopeful, I say. To state that we have problems is not particularly helpful. More to the point is the fact that most of our energy day after day is used in decision making. Patients frequently say, I can't make up my mind. Tell me what to do. I'm afraid I'll make the wrong decision, or in the face of inability to decide, I am always on the verge of going to pieces. I hate myself. I can never seem to accomplish anything. My life is a succession of failures. Though these statements can be said to express problems, they all originate in the difficulty that surrounds decision making. The unsettling nature of indecisiveness is sometimes expressed in the indiscriminate plea. Do something. Anything. Just do something. I feel targeted by that. There's a lot of people who have said that to me. People have said to me, Jim, for the love of God, just do something. And sometimes that voice is me. But mostly it's other people. In treating patients, we see two essential difficulties with decision making. One, I always make the wrong decision, which is the expression of the person whose decisions and activity which follows generally turn out badly for him or her. Because women can make decisions too, you know. And two, I keep going over and over the same thing, which is the expression of the person whose computer is cluttered with unfinished business or pending decisions. The first step in solving either of these difficulties is to recognise that in each decision there are three sets of data that must be processed. The first set of data is in the parent, the second in the child, and the third in the adult. Parent and child data are dated. Adult data represents external reality as it exists in the present, together with a vast amount of data accumulated in the past, independent of the parent and child. Data from all three sources pours into computer in response to a transactional stimulus, which is going to respond, parent, adult, or child. Perhaps the best way to explain this process is to illustrate. Now I should point out there are no drawings on this page, or any other pages really. There's one figure little diagram thing, that's it. No illustrations though. We shall say that a middle-aged businessman who has a reputation as a good father, a good husband, and a responsible citizen has to make a decision whether to sign his name to a petition that will appear in the local newspaper. This petition supports a fair housing bill to enable individuals of all races to live wherever their income allows. Excuse me. The request comes by telephone, and as soon as he hangs up he is aware of great discomfort, a churning in his stomach and a feeling that a perfectly good day has been ruined. Well, to be fair, it was the 60s, and I imagine people who proposed such radical ideas as, people living with other races would probably be in for a bad time in those days. I mean, I wasn't alive during that period, but from what I've read from books and old shows, that probably was the case. I mean, the 60s was a good time for people like me, but not so much for others. Anyway, back to the book. He has a decision to make, and there is obviously a great amount of conflict about it. Where does the conflicting data come from? One source is his parent. Among the requirements that turn on are, don't bring shame on the family. Don't stick your neck out. Why you? And your family and children must always come first. These are overtones to an even more compelling recording cut in his earliest years in his home in a southern town. You've got to keep them in their place. I'm not doing the accent, by the way. In fact, there is a whole category of parent data under the heading... Sorry, M-word. No, it literally says the M-word. Look, I'll show. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but it actually says... Look. See? It's my thumb. And... See? It actually says M-word. I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest with you. Every time I see that word, I'm just going to say M-word, by the way. Just so you know. It's in the book, I should warn you. Okay, let's start this whole sentence again, alright? Sorry, this old language kind of took me by surprise. Okay, let's start again. Where are we? Oh, we go. In fact, there is a whole category of parent data under the heading M-word, which has been unavailable for inquiry. On this body of data, the door was locked in early childhood by the firm directives, don't ask questions. He's an M-word, that's why. And don't let me hear you bring it up again. Wow. This guy's... Obviously, I should point out the context is that this guy is saying that this businessman wants racial equality, essentially. But the nagging voices of his racist parents and other people in his life have told him that he shouldn't. But I'll say this now. History is on the... If this businessman does make the right decision in this book, hopefully he does, then history is on his side. Because despite what people tell you, we can get on. We really can. These early recordings reinforced through the years by continuing parental dictates by further evidence that the presence of other people can be the cause of trouble. For example, in Little Rock, Selma, rocks, and Detroit are a powerful force bearing on this man's decisions. The power of this incoming data lies in its ability to reproduce fear in the child. The 6-foot-tall parent is again at work on the 2-foot-tall child to make him conform. Thus, the second set of data comes from the child. This data is expressed mostly as feelings, fear. What will they say? What would happen if my daughter married one? What will happen to the value of my property? There are difficulties here, but the intensity of the feelings is not so much related to the realistic difficulties as to the original difficulty of the 3-year-old child, dependent upon his parents for security. This produces the churning stomach and the sweaty hands. The conflict can be so painful that the man heads for his liquor cabinet, or some other activity to get his parent off his back. Now, what we're seeing here is a progressive person fighting his unprogressive upbringing and those around him. But I can tell you now, if your daughter does marry someone from another race, then they'll be happy. Well, no more than any other married couple, really. I mean, this is I imagine this was the year when Look Who's Coming to Dinner came out. That was the film with Sidney Poitier and Audrey Hepburn. You know, the joke was it's a mixed race couple and the parents are like, oh God, we don't want to be bad people, so we're just going to, handle this the best we can. They try their best, I think. I've not actually seen the film. But I know at the end it turns out Audrey Hepburn's blind. Which is why she married someone of another race, because she didn't care how the guy looked. She just cared for his personality. Which is a lesson all in itself. The main lesson here, people, is don't be racist. No, seriously, don't. It's not cool. It's not nice. And you wouldn't like if someone was like that to you either. This would be a short-lived war, were it not for another set of data which is also being fed into the computer. This is the data which comes from reality and is in the particular domain of the adult. A simple or non-thinking man isn't too much troubled by reality, he simply gives in to the parent. His slogan is peace for the child at any price. The old ways are the best ways, it is human nature. History repeats itself, let George do it. Now, the book is backing me up. So far I'm pretty convinced this book is backing me up in my views here. So I'll say, peace should not come at any price, or not if it costs you your soul. I'll say this now. It's like in history, people have often done genocides to make themselves feel safe from other people or other less disabled people. The proof is it doesn't really make you any safer, because people of my ancestors, well, I don't know about my actual ancestors because I'm from England, but there are, well, when I say ancestors, I mean the actual family bloodline. I mean, I don't know what atrocities my ancestors did. They may have done some, probably. I mean, we've probably got genocide in most of our bloodlines at some point, but the point is, the people from my country went to other places and killed a lot of people to build new lands for themselves. Didn't really make them any safer, because when you denote another group of people as inhuman and you decide to wipe them out, then you're really no better than the people you supposedly got rid of. If anything, you're worse. And once you do your atrocities, what then? You don't just go home and drink tea. You got to do some more and more, because you'll never be truly safe. I mean, World War II is a perfect example of this. Did you really think that nasty Germany would have stopped when they wiped out the Jews? No. They would have moved on to the Slavs, who they were already trying to wipe out. You had other undesirables such as Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, travelers groups, and after that they probably would have moved on to other people, because you're never truly safe from anything or anyone. Sorry about this, Bill, but these things, the thing about such things just makes me sad, you know. Makes me sad when I think of what humans are actually capable of doing to each other. It really does. And the sad thing is, we humans, we haven't learnt a damn thing from it all. You know that? But these things still happen. There are places all around the world right now, okay, where people are killing each other for stupid reasons. They probably, if you actually ask them, they probably say it's a good thing or the right thing to do, but it's not. Killing is never good. Never good. I mean, if you're defending yourself, that's a completely different situation, but if you actually just set out to kill someone, then that's not a good thing. It really isn't. Sorry about this, people. Let's get back to the book, shall we? It is only the man with an operating adult who must take into account the seriousness of the threat of a racial crisis, even to his own well-being. Only his adult can go for more data. Only his adult can access how the evil of slavery or treating persons as things has produced a humiliation and a hopelessness so devastating to many people that it is expressed in Little Rock or Selma or Watts or Detroit. Now, admittedly, I'm British, so the history of America and its treatment of African Americans wasn't something I was taught in school. I only really know from what I've seen in films and the odd TV show. And quite frankly, some of those places do sound familiar. I don't know why, because I don't really know the history, unfortunately. But I'm going to have to look into it. But as I've said before, we're all the same, really. We all bleed red. And that's all that matters. And the important thing is to remember is that we're all on this planet together. There's not another one. So we should really all try to live on. And if our ancestors have done crimes, then we can, atone for them and try to make things better for the descendants. Because you can't change what's happened. But you can change the future. I don't know why I heard that, but I heard it somewhere. It's true. Only the adult line Lincoln can say, the documents of the quiet past are insufficient to the present struggle. Only the adult can look objectively at all the data and proceed to look for more. It is in this process of identifying and separating the three sets of data that we begin to bring order out of the chaos of feelings and indecision. Once separated, the three bodies of data can be examined by the adult to see what is valid. The questions our troubled businessman must ask in examining his parents' data are: why did his parents believe these things? What was their parent like? Why was their child threatened? What was their ability or inability to examine their own PAC? That's parent, adult, child, by the way. Is what they believed true? Of course it wasn't. Those beliefs are never true. Are white persons superior to black persons? Of course not. Anyone who thinks, I'll tell you this now, anybody who thinks the white race is superior should spend a day with me, okay? Spend a day with me and look at the flipping stupid things I do, and I guarantee you now that will take away all notion that white people are superior to anybody else, because we are not. We really are not. And just so you know, I'm not the exception. There's a ton of me's out there, all white, all stupid, all ready to kill any notion of superiority that people may think exists. Fact of the matter is, my ancestors just moved to a part of the world where we learnt to kill each other quicker, and things like geography favoured us and allowed us to get better at killing other people. And because of that, we decided that we were somehow better. But the thing is, a slight change here or there, and it could have been the other way around. So just to clarify, there's no such thing as a superior human being. Not even those people who seem to have it together, they're not superior either. They just happen to have it together. But seriously though, if you do think white people are superior, then seriously, spend a day with someone like me. That'll disabuse any notion of that stupid thinking. Let's go back to the book. Why? Why not? Is it wrong never to stick your neck out? Would an anti-discriminatory position necessarily bring shame on the family? Might it bring honour? Does he really place his family and children first if he does not contribute to a realistic solution of racial problems in his community? Might even be helpful to ask what his parents believe today in contrast to what they believed when his parents was recorded. Just so you know, you should always try to do the right thing. Always. I stress the word try because, sometimes things don't quite go to plan. And the truth is, when it comes to family shame and that, chances are we are already living lives that our ancestors would believe to be, degenerate already. Sometimes, quite frankly, I imagine if my ancestors could see me right now sitting on this bed reading this book, having done nothing in my life at 41, they probably think I've brought shame on the family. And they probably feel even more shame. They knew what I think about things. Then again, they could have been quite progressive. You never know. It's easier to say that it's always that old ways of thinking, such as racism, was just, the past. It's just the way it was, or that's just the time. That's just an excuse, because if everybody thought like that, then we'd all be thinking like that now. Okay, progressive thinking didn't just suddenly happen one day. Okay, it was always there. People always had it. It just took time to, cultivate itself. I think I know what I'm talking about. His adult must also examine the data coming from the child. Why does he feel so threatened? Why is his stomach upset? Is there a realistic threat? Is his fear appropriate today? No. There is no threat. And the fear is unnecessary. As I said before, most people just want to live their lives and look after their families. That's it. Or was it appropriate only when he was 3 years old? He may have realistic fears about rioting and violence. He could be killed. But he must differentiate between the fear produced by current events and the fear he felt at age 3. The age 3 fear is far greater. At age 3 he cannot change reality, but at 43 he can. He can take steps to change reality, and ultimately to change the circumstances which produce the realistic danger. Understanding the age 3 fear is essential to freeing the adult for processing new data. This is the fear, the archaic fear of the all-powerful parent, which makes parents prejudged, or which makes them prejudiced. A person who is prejudiced is like the little boy in chapter 2 who accepts cops are bad as the ultimate truth. He is afraid to do otherwise. This produces the contamination of the adult, and this contamination allows prejudice or examined parent data to be externalized as true. To paraphrase Socrates, who held that the unexamined life is not worth living, you may say the unexamined parent is not worth basing one's life on. It might be wrong. And as I've gone on a bit tonight, I'm going to cut this short now. Just before you go, I'll show you the figure of prejudice. See? Get a good look at that. There we go. Get a good look at that. I'm going to leave that on there for another 5 seconds, just so you can get a good look. Okay, that's enough tonight. I didn't mean to go on like this, but I felt I had to. Always love your fellow human being, people. Always. Because, you should always treat people the way you want to be treated. The reason you shouldn't be racist, well, one, it's stupid, and let's face it, would you like if someone was like that to you? You wouldn't. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm lucky I've never experienced racism. The closest I ever got was on a trip to Thailand where this guy presumed I was there to see prostitutes, engaged in the sexury. I wasn't. But this guy presumed I was, and for about 2 or 3 minutes he seemed quite insistent that I, as a white man, must be. But, that wasn't really racism. That's just, just this guy trying to make money. That's another thing. Don't engage in the sex trade, people. Just don't. Find love and romance, but if you want to sleep around, do that. But just, be careful and always be respectful of others. The same way you want people to be respectful of you. Hope I'm making myself clear. I try to base my life philosophy on treat people the way I want to be treated. So I tend to be nice to people. That's it, really. Anyway, before I go on too much, and because this video is already, the recording has gone up to 25 minutes already. The video won't be that long, though. So I just want to say, take care of yourselves, everyone. And don't be racist, okay? Bye.